Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Good evening. My name is Karim Nizam bin Ahmad and we are from semester 5 student Innovative University College IUC. Our team has chosen the role of PDRM or RMP in Security Crisis Management. The title is Lahad Datu Invention for the grouping assignment, Security Crisis Management subject. Now I will explain the background of the Royal Malaysian Police. The Royal Malaysian Police, known as Police Diraja Malaysia in Malay, is the national law enforcement agency responsible for maintaining public order, enforcing the law, and safeguarding national security in Malaysia. Established in 1807, PDRM has evolved from its early colonial roots into a modern, professional police force capable of responding to complex domestic and international security challenges. The origin of PDRM dates back to the British colonial era when it was established to manage law and order in the state settlements of Penang, Malacca and Singapore. The force's primary responsibility was to handle the growing issue of piracy and crime in these trade hubs. It was during this period that the foundation of the police force was set, primarily staffed by the local recruits in 1978. Upon nation independence, PDRM was officially recognized as the National Police Force with the royal title granted by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, the King of Malaysia, acknowledging the force's integral role in the country's security. The force has enhanced its ability to respond to the internal threats, the increasing sophistication of criminal organizations, including drug trafficking, syndicates, and human trafficking rings, has led PDRM to set up specialized units such as the Anti-Narcotic Division and the Human Trafficking Unit. These specialized units have been critical in dismantling major transnational crime networks that impact both Malaysia and its neighbours. Along its focus on combating crime, PDRM has also prioritized community policing as part of its broader strategy to ensure public safety. The approach emphasizes building trust and cooperation between the police and the communities they serve. Public engagement has become a key pillar of PDRM strategies, with officers engaging with the public through outreach program, educational campaign and public forums. This initiative has been particularly important in improving relations between the police and marginalized communities, as well as increase the public confidence in law enforcement. Right, and case study, the Lahad Datu Instruction Crisis. The Lahad Datu Instruction Crisis in 2013 was a pivotal security event for Malaysia, involving an armed incursion by militants from the southern Philippines into Sabah, Malaysia's easternmost state. The militants, claiming to represent the Sultan of Sulu, asserted territorial claims over Sabah, leading to a prolonged stand-off, the violent clash. This case study evaluates the role of the Royal Malaysian Police in managing the crisis, focus on the police strategies, responses, and collaboration with other security forces. The crisis highlights the importance of the border security, intelligence cooperation, and the role of the law enforcement in managing such a security threats. The PDRM was thus gathering intelligence on the militant groups' movements, numbers, and plans. The police worked closely with the military intelligence and other security agencies to track the insurgents' activities and share the critical information. The coordination helped in formulating the military response and ensuring that operations we carried out the criminal civilian impact by the Sulaiman 2021. The PDRM coordinate the evacuation of civilians from Lahad Datu and surrounding areas. As the situation was worse, police officers facilitated the movement of the civilians to safe zones, reducing the risk of casualties. Additionally, the police worked to ensure that the evacuation routes were secure and that humanitarian aid was delivered to those affected by the conflict. by December 2020. The PDRM provide the vital support to the military by securing perimeters around the areas of operating, including the Kampung Tanduo, where the militant had established their base. They also assisted the logistic effort, moving the military personnel and resources to areas of need. The interagency coordination was essential in the successful execution of the military operation by Kuma 2022. The crisis underscored the need for more robust border security measures between Malaysia and the southern Philippines, which had long been a source of military activity. The police were involved in securing border and preventing additional incursion, but the crisis revealed that vulnerabilities in Malaysia border control system, Kuma 2022. Now, I want to invite my friend to continue the presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khairul. Assalamualaikum and good evening. Next, I will explain about involvement and roles of PDRM during the Lahad Datu intrusion crisis. The Lahad Datu intrusion crisis, which occurred in 2013 in Sabah, Malaysia, marked a significant security challenge for the country. Militants from the Philippines affiliated with the Sultanate of Sulu landed in Lahad Datu, demanding recognition of their claim to Sabah. In response, the Royal Malaysian Police played a crucial role in managing the situation. The police involvement encompassed several phases, from initial assessments and prevention of escalation to coordination with military force and ensuring the safety of civilians. This report elaborates on the specific roles and involvement of PDRM during the crisis. Number 1, initial threat assessments and prevention of escalation. At onset of the crisis, one of the PDRM tasks was to assess the situation and evaluate the potential threat posed by the militants. PDRM worked closely with local law enforcement agencies, military units, and intelligence organizations to understand the numbers of militants, their capabilities, and their inventions. This early response was focused on preventing the escalation of the crisis into a violent confrontation. PDRM officers monitor the activities of the militants and engage in dialogue with them in an attempt to resolve the situation diplomatically. This approach reflected the police role in maintaining peace and order, even in situations that could potentially lead to violent conflict. The aim was to ensure that the situation remained manageable and to provide the space for diplomatic solutions. Unfortunately, when these attempts at dialogue failed, PDRM was required to transition from preventive measures to security-focused operations. Look at number 2, ensuring civilian safety and evacuations. Once it became clear that the militants were not intending to leave and their action posed the imminent threat to the public, PDRM role shift toward ensuring civilian safety. One of the critical responsibilities of PDRM during this phase was the evacuation of civilians from the conflict zone. The police coordinate with local authorities and military units to move civilians away from areas that were likely to be impacted by military operations. This aspect of PDRM roles is vital in preventing civilian casualties. Given the proximity of the standoff to populated area, PDRM officials had to carefully manage the movement of people and ensure that evacuation routes were safe. Furthermore, PDRM was responsible to managing shelters and providing securities for those replaced by the conflict. They work to keep public order intact during this potentially chaotic phase, providing reassurance to the people of Lahad Datu and other affected areas. Number 3, security operation and coordination with military. As the crisis escalated and the likelihood of armed confrontation grew, PDRM's role in providing security became increasingly important. The police worked closely with the Malaysian Armed Force ATM in securing key areas surrounding Lahad Datu. PDRM was tasked with managing checkpoints, preventing the movement of militants into civilian areas, and ensuring that the conflict did not spread beyond the immediate region. Police force also supported the military tactical operation by sharing intelligence and assisting in monitoring key routes and borders. They played a crucial role in controlling access to conflict zones and ensuring that no reinforcement to supplies reached the militant. In addition, PDRM officers were stationed at critical infrastructure sites such as airport, ports, and other strategic locations to prevent sabotage or attacks on important assets. Their coordination with the military allowed for a more organized and effective response. That's all from me this evening. I invite Mrs. Rohana as the next presenter.
Thank you, Mr. Hafiz. My part for intelligence gathering and strategy planning. Intelligence gathering was another critical where PDRM involvement provide essential. The special branch unit of PDRM responsible for the counter-terrorism and intelligence play a key role in tracking the movement of the militant and providing attainable intelligence of both the police and military. The intelligence allow for more precise planning of military and police operation, improving the response to the intrusion. PDRM intelligence activities we not only limited to monitoring to the militant but also include identity potential sympathizer with the local population who might assist the militants. The collaboration between PDRM and military intelligence ensured that the crisis was addressed efficiently with a clear understanding of the militant technique and strategy. 5. Management, media and public information. During the crisis, the management of public information was circled. PDRM played an active role in controlling for the flow and information of the media and the public. This was done to provide the speed of misinformation which could have led to the public panic or examination for situation. PDRM officer we invite liaising with the media, provide under update on the crisis will ensuring the sensitive information about military and police operation was not disclosed. The police also works of provide movement from speeding which could have described. The claim needs to resolve the crisis effective. But controlling the media military, PDRM helps maintain publish, invest and provide with spread the fair and confusion. 6. Post-crisis investigation and law enforcement. After the resolution of the crisis, PDRM role in fact attends to law enforcement and investigation. Police force will invoice the identity and arresting individual who had a site in the collaborated with the militant, but both location and from abroad. This include individuals who may have provide logical support and assistance the military in the way. PDRM also investigate any potential connection between the militant and other group with the Malaysian, particular to with specific with the extreme organization. The efforts will circle in provide future stabilization and ensure the similar treat will not brewing with the country addition. PDRM contribute of the board national security of force ensure the lesson lead from the crisis with intelligent intro future preparation plan. I pass my friend.
Thank you, my partner. Assalamualaikum. My part is analysis of PDRM handling of the Lahad Datu institution crisis threat of PDRM response. Effective interagency coordination. One of the key strengths of the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM during the Lahad Datu institution was its ability to coordinate effectively with the Malaysian Armed Force and other relevant agencies. This level of collaboration play a critical role in ensuring a rapid and well-organized response to the crisis. PDRM expertise in intelligence gathering and logistic support and maintain law and order allow for a smooth integration with a Malaysia Armed Force, which is crucial of operation success. In particular, PDRM provide valuable intelligence of the movement of militant contributing to the planning and execution of Operation Daulat, which are aimed at neutralizing intruders to joint operation between PDRM and MAF allow of better resource allocation and both force we able to share better information in the real time. This coordination not only extend to efficiency of security operation but also help mitigate risks, ensuring that both police and military force could act decisively and in Hussein and 2019 by establishing a clear chain of command and ensuring that communication between the various agencies remain constant. PDRM was able to work constantly with MAF and other stakeholders. This level of inter-agency coordination was instrumental in containing the situation swiftly and efficiently, preventing future escalation of the conflict. PDRM ability to collaborate across different sectors demonstrate in adaptability and commitment to the security of the nation during a high-stakes crisis. Military operation efficient of the most notable strength of the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM during the Lahad Datu institution was the efficient activity of Operation Daulat. The operation highlighted to the effectiveness of the PDRM and the Malaysia Armed Force attempt in controlling the situation by employing strategy, access and methodology tactic planning. The success implementation of the operation demonstrate a high level of coordination and collaboration between the police and military force, ensuring the critical area we swiftly. PDRM role in Operation Daulat extend beyond its traditional law enforcement duty. In evolved work closely with the ATM to plan and exterminatory strategies and management both civilian harm and the impact of the intrusion. The coordination between agencies allow for the efficient use of the resource such surveillance equipment and personnel to military and nationalist threats in the across region. PDRM participant in ensuring that area with weekly control will maintain the safety in stably showcase the police capability and handle high stakes military operation in collaborate in the military's Aziz 2021. This efficient operation also reflected in preparedness of PDRM in dealing with aspect and complex security challenge by aligning with PDR ATM and ensuring tactic readiness both force success in neutralize the threat and restore order. Further underscoring in important in interagency cooperation in address national security issue. That's all. Thank you. I will like to invite my friend Uzazre.
Thank you, Raja. Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Ushazrin bin Muhammad Saleh. My point was weakness of PDRM response. So here I got 2 points. Firstly, yearly response delay. One of the most notable criticism of PDRM handling of the Lahad Datu crisis was the delayed response in addressing the threats. When the first signs of the instruction were reported on February 12, 2013, the response was slow and fragmented. Early reports from local law enforcement officers and intelligence agencies were insufficiently detailed, and the threat was not immediately recognized as a major security breach. It wasn't until several days later that the gravity of the situation began to sink in, and a more comprehensive response was initiated. This delay in recognizing the scale of the threat and mobilizing the necessary resources allowed the intruding militants to establish and fortify their position in Lahad Datu. During the early stages of the crisis, PDRM and other security agencies failed to act with urgency, allowing the militants to regroup and resist Malaysian forces for a longer period. The delay also led to confusion and inefficiency in decision-making process, further hindering the deployment of resources and appropriate tactical response. A quicker response by PDRM could have potential contain the threat before it escalates into a prolonged standoff, reducing the risk to civilian life and property in the area. Second, lack of coordination between agencies. A major challenge faced by PDRM in handling the Lahad Datu crisis was the lack of seamless coordination between various security agencies involved in the response. The complexity of the situation required close collaboration between several organizations, including PDRM, the Malaysian Armed Forces (ATM), the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency (MMEA), intelligence agencies, and local authorities. However, from the early stages of the crisis, there was significant communication and operational issues between these agencies. One of the key issues was the fragmentation of information sharing. Due to the lack of a unified command structure, there was confusion regarding the flow of intelligence and operational directive. Information was not being shared efficiently between PDRM, ATM, and other agencies, leading to gaps in situational awareness. For example, while intelligence agencies had some knowledge of the militants' movement and intentions, that information was not always relayed in a timely or organized manner to PDRM and ATM. As a result, PDRM had to make critical decisions with incomplete or delayed information, which affected the overall response strategy. Another significant issue was the unclear division of role and responsibilities between the various security forces. while PDRM had primary responsibility for law enforcement and internal security. ATM was tasked with military intervention, and MMEA was responsible for maritime enforcement. However, there were overlaps and ambiguities in the jurisdiction and tasks assigned to each agency, which create delay in the deployment of forces. For instance, PDRM was initially slow to collaborate with ATM in a joint operation, leading to delay in resources mobilization and tactical coordination. Furthermore, the absence of a centralized command structure means that decisions were sometimes made in isolation rather than through a coordinated strategic approach. This inefficiency was particularly evident during the early phase of the operation, when PDRM was unsure of how best to integrate military and law enforcement effort. The lack of a clear, unified command center to streamline decision making contribute to confusion in the field and delay the implementation of critical security measures. The poor coordination also led to resource misallocation. While PDRM was focused on managing internal security, ATM and MMEA were engaged in separate operational priorities. This division of focus result in an uncoordinated response, where resources such as personnel, equipment, and intelligence assets were not always effectively shared or contribute among the agencies involved. As a result, the crisis dragged on longer than it should have, allowing the intruder to maintain their foothold and increasing the risk to civilian life and national security. Done. Thank you. Next, I want to invite Yasmin Zairi for the next chapter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will continue the presentation. Challenges faced by PDRM during the Lahad Datu intrusion crisis. First, managing civilian safety and evacuations. Challenge. One of the most immediate challenges for PDRM during the Lahad Datu intrusion was managing civilian safety in the conflict zone and ensuring the safe evacuation of thousands of residents. With the ongoing military operations and the threat of militant attacks, the risk of civilian casualties was high. PDRM had to ensure that civilians were protected from both the fighting and the potential retaliatory acts from the militants. Example, in areas like Lahad Datu and Semporna, where militants were actively engaged in combat with Malaysian forces, PDRM coordinated with other agencies to evacuate civilians, sometimes under intense pressure. This included moving people to safe zone while ensuring that the operation did not inadvertently endanger them. PDRM's role in crowd control, preventing panic and protecting civilians from further harm was crucial. The police had to make sure that evacuations were carried out efficiently without allowing militants to exploit the chaos to further their objective. Hussein, 2019. Second, coordination between PDRM and the Malaysian Armed Forces, ATM. Challenge. Another key challenge for PDRM was the coordination with the Malaysian Armed Forces, ATM. Although PDRM was responsible for maintaining public safety, law enforcement and intelligence gathering, ATM was primarily responsible for direct combat operations, ensuring smooth and effective collaboration between the two agencies, particularly under the tense and rapidly evolving circumstances, was vital. In example, early in the crisis, there were reports of miscommunications between PDRM and ATM, especially regarding the movement of civilians and the positioning of police and military units. For instance, while ATM engaged in military strikes, PDRM was tasked with handling potential civil unrest and ensuring that civilians were not caught in the crossfire. The situation required quick, clear communication and operational coordination. At times, PDRM was responsible for protecting civilian infrastructure while the military engaged in combat operations to neutralize the threat posed by the militants. And I will give this presentation to my partner, Mr. Hayari. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hairi and my part was to 2 point only, which is border security and intelligence gathering. Challenges. The instruction itself revealed significant gaps in border security and intelligence gathering. PDRM was monitoring and securing Malaysia vast border, especially in Sabah, where the militant inflated by sea. The lack of real-time intelligence and porous nature of the maritime border pose challenges for PDRM in detecting and preventing the incursions. For example, the militant enter Malaysia maritime border undetected, which is allow them to establish a stronghold in Lahad Datu. The intelligence failures mean that PDRM, alongside the Malaysian military, had to react quickly after the militant had already entered the territory. Once the militant were established in the area, PDRM has to work under tight time constraints to identify their network and prevent any further infiltrations. The remote and difficult to monitor coastline made it hard for PDRM to deploy resources in a timely manner, contributing to the initial delay in securing the area. For the conclusion and recommendation, the Lahad Datu instruction demonstrates the crucial role of PDRM in managing a complex security crisis. Despite some challenges, PDRM effectively coordinated with the military and ensured the safety of civilians. However, the crisis also highlighted the need of improvement in tactical readiness and crisis negotiation capabilities. Recommendation for PDRM: enhance tactical and combat training. PDRM should invest in specialized training program for police officers to handle high intensity conflict. This would include joint training with military force to better prepare police officers for situations that involve armed, militant and high-risk confrontation. Develop specialized negotiation units. Establishing a dedicated negotiation within PDRM could improve the police ability to manage crises involving armed groups. This unit would be trained in conflict resolution, diplomacy and psychological strategies, helping you to refuse potential violence before it escalates. We want to thank everyone for your time and attention through our presentation. It has been an honor to share our idea and finding with you. To summarize, our group has discussed the role of PDRM in Malaysia security crisis management. We hope the information we presented was clear and insightful. Finally, we hope our presentation has been clear and informative. If you have any question or feedback, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you once again for taking the time to watch our presentation. Assalamualaikum.